Welcome to CPR Chat. I'm Keith Lurie. Today we have the opportunity to speak with Chief Wayne Kiewicz, the Fire Chief of Richfield, Minnesota. Wayne lives in Edina, Minnesota, just about 5 miles or so from where I'm sitting here in the Richfield Fire Department station. And on July 1st, 2020, Wayne had a cardiac arrest. So Wayne, can you tell us a little bit what you remember from before your arrest that day and how you were feeling? And then what you first remember afterwards.
Okay. Looking back, I realized I wasn't feeling as good as I really should have. I had some signs. I had some shortness of breath different days. But that day, I was taking the garbage out to the street for the pickup, for the weekly pickup. I had incredible chest pain. And I thought it was reflux because I'd been battling reflux for quite a while. And then it went away. And I didn't have any other, the classic symptoms, no radiating pain, no sweating, no shortness of breath, nothing. So I went inside, started to eat some yogurt thinking that would help, and it didn't. I sat down in my chair, sent a couple emails, and that's the last thing I remember until I woke up in the ambulance. My wife found me sitting in the chair. I was in cardiac arrest. She screamed for our son, Jack. They pulled me out of the chair. Jack started doing compression only CPR on me. Ruth called 911. And fortunately, we live very close to the Edina Fire Station. And the Edina Fire Department and the Richfield Fire Department work very closely together. So I go to a lot of their fires. They come to all of our fires. So I know all of the folks there. They recognize the address. They emptied the station. PD was on scene in under 2 minutes. Edina Fire was there in under 3. They took over compressions for my son. They shocked me once in the house. And then they got me positioned with the Eligard and the Lucas and the iGel airway and then an ITD. They took me down to the ambulance, put me in the back of the ambulance, and left for the University of Minnesota. So they shocked me again en route, and I came to this time. So the perfusion was good enough that I was there, but then I went right back into VF. And when I went back into VF, which would probably be the third time, right before they shocked me, I was conscious. I was talking to the medics, and I woke up in the back of the ambulance. And the first thing I realized was I heard it. And having 25 years in public safety and in the fire service, you know what it's like in the back of an ambulance. You know those sounds. You hear the siren. You feel the back of the box rocking. You see people reaching over you, handing stuff back and forth, and you hear all the language that you're so familiar with from every arrest you've ever worked. And you go, I can't believe this is me. I looked up at the medic and I said, did I have an arrest? And he says, yeah, you arrested. And that's when I dropped the, oh, bleep, and then, so I'm still in VF. And they're getting ready to shock me. And then the medic, Ben Kinney, looks at me and he goes, Chief, this is going to hurt. And that's when they shocked me. And I was screaming bloody murder at them, giving them a lot of grief. But it was good. I remember arriving at the hospital. I remember climbing over onto the table in the cath lab. I was talking to the docs there. It was something else. And I was home in 51 hours. Neurologically intact.
And you had a major blockage of your left anterior descending coronary artery. Is that right? You're a widowmaker lesion?
Correct, 80%. So I have 2 stents now for that. And now I went through cardiac rehab. Feel great. Lost a lot of weight.
Well, you're doing great.
Thanks.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your story. You had the new basic life support bundle of care.
Mm-hmm.
You had bystander CPR right away. High quality bystander CPR. You got a shock right away, but it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Then you received the best therapy we know to give the best possible flow that we know based upon animal studies. So you had an impedance threshold device, you had a Lucas device that pulled up with a suction cup, and your head was within less than 3 minutes elevated, as was your heart, with the Eligard system. And after priming for a couple of minutes, they put your head up. You still were in cardiac arrest. They gave you a little bit of adrenaline. They gave you a little bit of amiodarone. And then you spontaneously came out, and then you went back in, I guess, into VF, and you got shocked back again, which is when you let out your famous expletive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that bundle of care followed by definitive therapy to fix the blockage is why we can celebrate today. And what's interesting is always a little bit in retrospect, maybe there were some signs there that you weren't feeling quite right, but nothing totally overt.
No.
It was subtle.
Yeah, it was very subtle.
Well, for those of us who participate in trying to improve outcomes, seeing you, getting to know you, becoming a friend is a wonderful thing. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
allowing us into your life after all this as well.
Thank you. You're welcome.